Hello everybody, welcome back to Museum Madness. I am Jession, and let's get right back into it. We finished up the Louisiana Purchase yesterday. Let's see how much more of the American history we can get done. Probably not too many, maybe 2, 3 if we're lucky. I don't think we'll get all 4 done today. It is said that the United States is a country of immigrants. Between 1870 and 1916, more than 25 million people came to America to make a new life. During the first part of the 20th century, more than 1 million people per year were streaming from Europe to America. The first thing many of these immigrants saw when they entered the United States was the Statue of Liberty. Almost all of them passed through the immigration station on Ellis Island in New York Harbor. During the last decade of the 19th century and the first decade of the 20th century, millions of people crowded on ships bound for America. Most of these immigrants were escaping the overpopulation and hopeless poverty of southern and eastern Europe. Many spent all they had to buy a ticket to the United States. I'm actually going to turn down the sound a little bit. There we go. That's better. Now I can hear myself talk. So, here we got a bunch of people. We're going to talk to them. Let's talk to this guy. You look like you are bound for America. We want to go, but we're not sure how to get a ticket. Come to the right place. I just happen to have a spare ticket here. Is it for sale? Of course it's for sale, or trade if you don't have the cash. Okay, I'll buy it for $1. That's a good start, young fellow, but a ticket to America is a valuable thing. Some people spend everything they have to buy passage. I guess that means you want more. I knew you were a bright kid when I first saw you. So, yep, getting closer to a fair price, but I think I can do better with that fellow over there. Is that all you have? I think I can come up with a little more. Keep going, kid. You're on a roll. I'll tell you when you're done. Okay, but this is highway robbery. So if you couldn't guess, it's a fair price for sure fame and fortune in America. The streets are paved with gold there, you know. I'll need a little more, though. Streets may be paved with gold. My pockets will be paved with lint by the time you're through. If you couldn't guess, you do in fact just give him everything. A little more, you're doing just fine now. At this rate, I'm never going to get this ticket. Just a bit more and you'll have passage to the land of plenty. That's good, I'll need plenty by the time you're done with me. And that should be it, because I don't think you can give him your safe thing. Okay kid, that's a fair price. Here's your ticket, use it in good health. I know you're going to make your fortune in America. All I know is you're making a fortune right here, thanks to the ticket. I hope you have a good time with my stuff. Can you help me? I don't know which boat to board. I hear it's the odd boat that sails for America. That's odd. That's what I said. Can you help me decide which boat to board? I hear they all look pretty much alike, but I'm told that the one is different from the others is bound for America. Which one looks different? Which one is different? Oh, there we go. That's what I like, an immigrant that knows what he wants. Are you sure this is the ship you want to board? We sail immediately. Yep, I'm sure. Alright, let's go on up. Your passage is in steerage. Go below before I throw you overboard. Oh, goody. So this is another maze. All steerage passengers must be in the steerage compartment by 8 bells. What's 8 bells? That's the way we tell time on a ship. When you hear 8 bells, you must be in the steerage compartment. I better get moving. These guys sound like they mean business. Apparently that's not it. Oh, hey, there's some stairs. Down we go. There's nothing there. There it is. This one was a pretty short one. 3rd class. Basically just sit in the hole. All that work to get to a sardine can? I'll never complain about my room again. Now hear this. We have docked at Ellis Island in New York Harbor. All immigrants disembark through the starboard gateway. That sailor talk means we should move through the right passage. The ships on which immigrants traveled were small and cramped. Often hundreds of people were packed into the lowest part of the ship called steerage. In the words of one immigrant, I saw people lying in bunks that were stacked up one on top of the other. The people did not have enough room to sit up in bed. The smell inside was terrible. When the ships docked, the immigrants were taken to Ellis Island. Here in the Great Registry Room, they were questioned by doctors and immigration officers. Most immigrants passed through Ellis Island within a few hours. However, some unfortunate people were detained for days, and a few were forced to return to Europe because they were deemed unsuitable for entrance. Probably more than a few. So we gotta talk to this guy. Welcome to America. Before you can be admitted to the United States, you must demonstrate that you have good eyesight. That sounds reasonable, I think. I will show you 3 sets of objects and ask you a question about each set. Answer the questions correctly and you may proceed to the next station. You understand the directions? Yeah. Well, that's probably gonna be A. So look here. Which one of these is different from the others? That'd be A. That's correct, you definitely have an eye for American trivia. I try to look sharp if you know what I mean. So here comes the second one. Well, C is missing Florida, which I think we all might appreciate, but it's definitely different at least. You passed the eye test. I believe there's another one that's the other one is it's like it had presidents Washington and then Jefferson was the odd one out. When the ships docked in, the immigrants... Oh yeah, I read that already. So there's no reason to actually read any of those. Welcome to America. I see you passed the eye test. That's just a little joke. I hope you don't have a night job in a comedy club. Very funny. I'm going to ask you 3 questions about America. If you answer 2 of them correctly, you may move on. Okay, shoot. Understand the directions? Yep. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted by Congress? That'd be July 4th, 1776. Got that one right. You must have been studying on your way here. You need to answer 1 more to pass the test. Actually, I picked up that little piece of information watching Name That Fact on TV. Who founded the American Red Cross? I think it was C. Clara Barton. That's 2 out of 3 correct. You have passed the American History test. Now you can move on to the memory test. That part's actually hard. These ones kind of stress me out a little bit as well. Apparently I get stressed out by the American history section in general. Alright, 3rd one. I think this one's about the Statue of Liberty. In America, you must have been a good candidate for immigration if you've gotten this far. Thanks, what do we do now? I'm going to ask you 3 questions about the Statue of Liberty. You saw it on your way into New York Harbor. You've probably seen pictures of it hundreds of times. It sounds tough, but go ahead. The Statue of Liberty was a gift to the United States from what country? That'd be France. Alright. My sister always said I had a memory like an elephant, or was that the brains of an elephant? Oh well, bring on the next question. What date is written on the statue's tablet? See, that one I don't know. I think it's 4th of July. 76. Your memory is up to the test. You can move on to the English language test now. That was a snap. I guess that wasn't the last one. Wow, I forgot there were so many of these. Welcome to America. You're almost finished. Before we can allow you to immigrate, you must show that you demonstrate the English language. This should be a snap. I've spoken it all my life. I'm going to ask you the definitions of 3 words. If you know 2 of the 3, you may move on. Okay, I'm ready. Yep. Many people come from America to escape persecution. What is persecution? That is harassment. Know the language pretty well. If I didn't know better, I'd think you'd been speaking English all your life. Here's the next question. Those who come to live in America from other countries are called something. What are they? Pugilists. Most definitely pugilists. A pugilist is a person who likes to punch things. Last test. Welcome to America. We have something for you. The man you bought your tickets from was convicted of cheating immigrants just before you sailed. The captain asked me to give you back all the positions you used to buy your ticket. You mean I made it and I get my stuff back? Was this a great country or what? We get to go one more time. There it is, New York City. I guess I made it to America. For a while there, I thought I'd never get here. Must have been how the original immigrants felt. They sure had it tough. They must have been very determined to come to America. Now I can head back to the main hall. I wonder what new disaster is waiting. First, we're going to read this. After being examined and questioned, immigrants were allowed to continue on their way. They had to take a ferry from Ellis Island to New York City. This was the last step in a journey that many people had begun many years before. It was the beginning of a new adventure filled with its own hardships and triumphs. That's actually a pretty nice picture there. Good pixel art. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's stretch out there. Revolutionary War. Alright, let's go down there. The American Revolutionary War was fought between the original 13 colonies and Great Britain. Colonists banded together and declared their independence from the British Crown after many years of oppression. The British taxed the colonies and imposed other hardships on them that finally resulted in rebellion. The colonists needed a strong leader to keep them united. They found one in General George Washington, who led the Continental Army in the struggle for freedom. Fort Ticonderoga was a British fort in upstate New York. It was captured by the colonial militia under the leadership of Benedict Arnold on May 10, 1775, in one of the earliest battles of the American Revolution. The cannons from Fort Ticonderoga were used by George Washington to force the British out of Boston in the winter of 1776. The British recaptured the fort in 1777. Begone, young stranger. No one is allowed inside the fort. You look too much like a rebel for our taste. Those redcoats look irritated. They must not have had their afternoon tea. I better try something else. This is a replica of a colonial blacksmith shop. Blacksmiths worked with metal, shaping and molding it into many objects that were necessary for life in early America. Almost everything made of metal was forged by colonial blacksmiths. Among the many things that blacksmiths made were locks and keys, hinges, plows, weapons, and horseshoes. Blacksmiths were also called upon to repair flintlock rifles used by colonists to hunt and protect their families. I have no time for idle chat. My master demands that I finish these swords for the British Army. Don't tell him, but I make them weak so they break easily. You must be loyal to the colonists, so am I. I'm trying to help General Washington. I fought with the general at the Battle of Brandywine. He fell from his horse and seemed to be dazed. Let's move along quickly now. I must finish this work. I don't even have time to go to the tavern for a cool drink. This work makes me very hot and thirsty. You look like a healthy young person. Try your luck and see if you got what it takes to handle a real flintlock. I like how everybody's got like the powdered wigs, but they also got no shirt on. Just complete the steps in the right order in less than 15 seconds and you win. Let's see if I can remember what these are. Select the items in the right order to fire the colonial soldier's musket for the redcoat fires. You have 15 seconds. Alright. Alright, I believe it's the powder, then the thing, then the ball. Now you shove it all down in there. Blam. Yeah, that's right. Not bad for a young'un. I hope you're on our side. You can obviously handle yourself. We're out of rifles, but take this powder if you like. I bet I can get a real blast out of that stuff, but it looks pretty dangerous. It's already in my... it's not in there. Where's the powder? Oh, there it is. Alright. Careful with that. If it goes off, you'll think a war has started. Have you seen General Washington? He's being held under guard in Fort Ticonderoga. If you want to get inside to see him, you'll have to find something to distract the guards. Be careful, they're real gun-shy with all the fighting going on. They jump at the slightest noise. Thanks for your help. May I ask you something? I've been up and down this route 1,000 times, but I don't think I've seen anyone dressed like you. I'm from France. The postwriter dropped this letter. It's addressed to the innkeeper at the Buckman Tavern. I wonder where that is. But anyway, let's go over here. Oh, let's go it again. Oh, clink. Kaboom! Yeah! I'll take the key. Come on. Fine. Use the gate key and open it up. Inside Fort Ticonderoga, British officers lived in small, sparsely furnished rooms. These rooms served as offices and living quarters for the officers while their troops occupied barracks on the lower levels of the fort. Hello, do you bring news from the outside? Have the rebels given up their fight against the crown? Colonists have not given up. They need you to lead them again. I cannot support their cause. The British have done nothing to make the colonists rebel. But don't you remember all the things the British have done to oppress the colonists? I remember reading in history class about how they taxed everything and wouldn't let the colonists vote. My memory is fuzzy since I fell off my horse, but the British officers assure me that they have treated the colonists fairly. I can't take the word of a stranger that they are wrong. How do I know I can trust you? I carry your picture around. This is a very strange likeness of me. It's not very flattering. I look a little green. But if you carry my portrait, I will at least listen to what you say. What could it take to make you believe that the colonists have been treated unfairly and that the revolution is the only answer to British oppression? If I could see written accounts of what has happened, that might help me remember. That's easy, I'll just go to the library and check out a history book and... No, that won't work. I'll have to find something in this exhibit that will convince the general. You may need something of mine to show others they will trust you. You may take a button from my extra coat hanging on the wall. Fancy buttons. Cut it off. Bloop. USA. Alright, let's head out. Let's head over here. The Buckman Tavern was a well-known meeting place for colonials before, during, and after the American Revolution. There were no telephones, televisions, or radios in colonial times. Information was passed from one person to another. People often met at taverns and meeting houses to discuss politics, exchange the latest news, and collect gossip. Also, the colonists could find newspapers from surrounding cities at their tavern and read about events outside their local area. So let's talk with these guys first. Excuse me, can you tell me about British oppression? British oppression, we can give you an earful there, but how do we know you're not a Tory? Do I look like a Tory? You have a point there. No Tory would be caught dead in those clothes. You will need more than your funny dress to convince us. How about a button? Only a son of liberty would show us this. I'll take that and keep it safe. The lobsters will hang you for sure if they catch you with it. This will tell you about British oppression. If only General Washington were here, he could tell you all you need to know. I don't think so. Hope this helps your cause. Guard it well and tell General Washington we await his return. Thanks, I'll tell him when I see him again. A monumental inscription on the 5th of March on the enlargement of Ebenezer Richardson. Awake, my drowsy thoughts, awake, my muse, awake, O earth, and tremble at the news. In grand defiance of the laws of God, the guilty, guilty murderer rocks abroad. Let's talk to these guys. Looking for evidence of British oppression, can you help me? British oppression, is it? I told you, gentlemen, these rebels are everywhere. You don't have to get nasty, I was just asking. By the way, nice hats. Welcome, you look hungry. I'm starved, this patriot stuff is hard work. That may be, but you have to pay for your food in this establishment. I have no money that's good here. Come back when you have something to trade. Well, give you a nice letter. Ah, thanks. The postwriter said he had a letter for me, but he lost it along the road. It takes a month to get mail from Philadelphia. This deserves a reward. Thanks, I needed a snack. Do you always wrap your sandwiches in newspaper? Of course, this is a first-class establishment. This water tastes great. These museum exhibits get very dusty. They need a cybernetic janitor to clean up their act. I'll save the rest of the water for later. This is about the Stamp Act. It says the British put a tax on almost everything in the colonies. Colonists thought this was very oppressive and eventually fought against it. Pennsylvania Journal, October 31st, 1765. Pennsylvania Journal and Weekly Advertiser. I'm forced to inform our readers that the recent act known as the Stamp Act has forced this publication to stop publication. The tax on all printed matter included newspapers, books, and all other documents, the latest example of British oppression that threatens the economic well-being of the colonies. Give this guy some water. You're a kind person. I sense you are with our rebel cause. If there's anything I can make for you, just ask. I was the best locksmith in the colony before we lost at Brandywine, and I was forced into this miserable job. So nothing we can do just yet with him. But we'll go into this last page. Colonial schools often occupied a single room. Children of all ages were educated together. Books were scarce in the colonies, so students shared the books that were available. Students often spent long hours copying from books and practicing their letters. The teacher was often a man who ruled the class with an iron hand. Students who did not do their work were often punished. Now what will I do? I broke my pen and I have to finish this task before the headmaster returns or he will punish me severely. I guess teachers were the same in colonial days. Maybe I can help. Here's a pen. What is this object? It's a pen and will help you finish your homework. Guess some things haven't gotten any better with history. Thank you. I hate copying these articles about how the British are taxing the colonies. But the headmaster is a Tory and he thinks it is a good lesson for us. He says it reminds us who is in charge here. Can you show me the article? You can take this one if you like. I'm finished with it. This newspaper shows how the British oppressed the colonies. Thank you for letting me use your pen. I finished my assignment. You can have it back now. No problem. We oppressed people have to stick together. The Connecticut Courant, Hartford, October 25th, 1764. British tax sugar and other foods. The colonial government of King George III today imposed taxes on the food supply of the 13 colonies. Protests against the so-called sugar tax have taken throughout the colonies. No taxation without representation is the rallying cry of the protesters. That belongs to the headmaster. He keeps important papers in it, but it's always locked. I'll have to find a key to open this. This candle is very soft. It feels more like clay than wax. You just stick it right there in the thingamajigger, in the lock. Squish it in there good. Now you have a wax key. We can go talk to our friend the locksmith over here. Can you make a key that looks like this one? I can always help a fellow patriot, but I must do it in secret. Go away for now. When you come back, it will be done. Go quickly now before we are discovered. Let me see if I can go this way, if it'll do anything. These guys like run off at some point and they rip up a piece of paper. I'm not sure if it's at the end or if there's another way to trick it before the very end. So I'll take this key and just sort of sneak back out. We'll go over here. Have I been doing just this one for a half hour? I mean, you can see why I kind of think these are really long. No, I did the Ellis Island one too, that's right. Common Sense, addressed to the inhabitants of America on the following interesting subjects. 1. The origin and design of government in general, with concise remarks on the English Constitution, of monarchy and hereditary succession. thoughts on the present state of American affairs, of the present ability of America with some miscellaneous reflections. Common sense. That's what my grandfather says kids don't have today. But I see this common sense was written by Thomas Paine to convince the colonists that they should fight for freedom. If I take this with me, then I can tell my granddad that I have the original common sense. Cool. Alright. So now we just give all this stuff over to the Washington. This is very interesting, but I need more evidence. I knew you were going to say that. This is quite disturbing, but I still need to know more. Okay, you're a hard man convinced. Wait, I wonder if these are any different. If I click on it... Yeah, okay. It just shows the same thing. This is certainly evidence of British oppression. However, I still need more evidence before I can act. Okay, okay. Your memory is worse than I thought. I'll find some more evidence for you. This is very disturbing. The colonists have good reason to be angry. Finally! But I must have something more before I can join their cause. I seem to recall a declaration that was written in Philadelphia. If only I could see it, I would know I would remember. I knew it was too good to be true. I'll find the declaration, but that's it. Alright, so... yeah, that is what triggers it. Can I just say I love the carpet in this game? This is definitely carpet that I would expect to see. That takes care of the rebel declaration. In pile on the floor. Shattered declaration on the floor. Let's see what we can do here. There it is. In Congress, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, July 4th, 1776. There it is. Does it show anything different when I double click? Yep, it doesn't. Does anything show when I like double click on these? Nope. Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Looks like we'll be finishing this one, and that'll be it for today. And then I'll create a little... tomorrow we'll probably finish the American Hall. Told you it's gonna be a while. Final one though. It's all coming back to me now. There's no choice except to fight the British and obtain our independence. I must rejoin my troops. Hurrah, he finally remembered. It took a lot to convince the colonists to start the Revolutionary War, and it took as much to make General Washington finish it. Now that I've saved America, I'll go back to the main hall. Maybe I can find a vending machine on the way. I still have that picture of Washington. Alright, so that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Jesseon. This is Museum Madness. Next time we'll finish up the American History Hall with the Salem Witch Trials, the Transcontinental Railroad. Transcontinental Railroad I think is a little bit shorter, but we'll see. Then we can get on to more science, because I'm enjoying the science a lot more. The history is good, but you definitely like learn a bit about oh boy. Oh boy. What? Okay, phew. Thought it was gonna crash, super crash there. We'll go ahead and save and exit. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jesseon, and I'll see you next time.